Hello and welcome to the Bodysurf podcast with your budgie boys Tim and Owey, back for another episode of Between the Sets. And Owey, it's lovely to have you here in the studio. How you doing, mate?
Mate, this is the first time I've been in the actual studio since you've set it up, and the first time I've been back since our big three. And oh, mate, have I been just carrying on galore.
Do you think this is a coincidence? You don't just get gear like this if you're just a fourth place team. If you're a seventh place team. But when you get a podium finish, the money starts rolling
Fuck them right off, mate. Look at the shit we got. We finally got a power pack for this LED light back here. And Timmy, what can I just say? Congratulations to all the other teams, but I mean, we fucking smoked you.
Oh
we got you. We got you good.
Well, there was two teams that absolutely smoked us.
We got absolutely pantsed, and every single one of them loved it.
Well, not everybody loved it. Actually, everyone did love it.
Yeah,
everyone did love number one and number two.
Yeah.
Not many people liking the number three.
No, that's right. No, and well, for good reason. I mean, Dave Malloy, I'm sorry. As much as I can be sorry for coming third in the Australian Bodysurfing Classic. And I've been sending him daily updates of this, by the way.
I think we should dedicate this episode to Dave Malloy. Now, for those who don't know, Dave Malloy is a big character in the body surfing community here in Sydney, Australia, especially in the eastern suburbs. He's one of the best photographers in the game, and a lot of the photos you'll be seeing are Dave Malloy photos. But what did he say, Owey, when we got third place?
We're never going to hear the end of this. And you won't. Honestly, you will not. And I know we've had a lot of recap. The last 3 episodes have been a big recap.
But we haven't had you on. And this is your carry-on. This is your chance to say hello to Dave Malloy and everyone else that wants to hear your insights about what it's like to be a third place body surfing captain, team captain.
Yeah.
It's an incredible, and I don't think we will carry on for too much longer.
No, well, really, Tim, it's the end of our season. You know, like the Australian Bodysurfing Classic is the culmination of a year's work. And we're coming down now, like normal years, January to December, you hit Christmas Day and you go, all right, we'll cool it off until New Year's Eve, start the year strong. Nah, for us, we're starting the year strong. This is the end. Bang, done. New season. So carry on as much as we want today, I say.
Well, I was going to suggest maybe we carry on until the end of the year.
Like this?
Well, yeah, we've got a few more episodes up our sleeve, and I think we'll sprinkle in a bit of the glory that comes with being a third place body surfing champion
of course,
team.
Yes.
Let's just carry on for the rest of the year. We'll have our AGM soon, and we'll carry on big time then, and then let's retool the podcast once again, come in even harder for 2023.
There's been a lot of talk of retooling, you know, and we've said it year after year, season after season, but this year, this season is going to be tooled. We're tooling it.
We're tooling it so hard. And before we get into your analysis of the Australian Bodysurfing Classic for 2022, let's announce some big news that we have for the Bodysurf podcast for 2023. It's not that far away, Owey, and I'm very excited. I've been running this little Facebook group for a while. We've got about 200 members in this Facebook group.
Yeah, you're doing the hard yards, Timmy, and I just come along at the end of the day and talk a bit of malarkey.
Yes.
But, you know, I'm committed. I want to get my hands more involved.
Good.
I want my fingers in the pie, Tim.
Yeah, there's a few pies.
There's a lot of
pies going around. But we put out a little feeler on the Facebook group. I love the Facebook group. Doesn't get a lot of love, but I like posting some stuff up there.
You know what the Facebook group is good for? It's the fringe listeners.
Yes.
The people who aren't really into the Instagram.
Yeah.
You know? It's the Ryan Fitzies of the world.
Okay.
You know, it's the Newcastle body surfers. They're there. They're watching.
Good.
They're watching. So Tim, don't think that you...
I worry I post too much on it. Yeah.
Do not think that your efforts go to waste. And even the Australian Body Surfing Facebook group, that's a good spot to be posting stuff.
For sure. But
congratulations, really, on making sure that this continues to go, because really this year we've gone from strength to strength. The listeners may not be coming through the microphones, but the backstage, what we've got going on behind the scenes is a lot more coordinated than it was before.
That's right. So for a long time, myself and Owey, we've been the co-hosts of the Bodysurf podcast. You came up with this idea, Owey. I remember when we were sort of starting to get into body surfing, you said, I think we've got to do a Bodysurf podcast.
Yeah, set of twins on a set of swings.
And I just said, I'm going to need a bit more information. And you told me everything and you go, we've got to keep it simple. Because we were always trying to be very creative and no one liked it.
Yeah.
So you go, keep it simple. The name of the show, the Bodysurf podcast. That's it.
And I just went, yeah. I understand. It is what it says on the tin.
So we came up with this idea and we were just producing this show together. We had access to some radio studios. We had access to some old wooden analog mixers and we were just doing our best. But we also had access to some great guests in the early days. And then Woofo got involved as executive producer. Now, I'm not sure why Woofo wanted to be executive producer. I think it was because he was head of childcare, or he had a really bad role in the Budgie Boys. So in the Budgie Boy team, we all are assigned roles.
Yeah, at the AGM that hasn't happened for a couple of years, COVID restricted, obviously, we have different roles. And the Hawk, as it's affectionately known, is the shittest role.
The worst job. And there's only one job that's worse, and I think it's Bodysurf podcast intern. That's the word. That's below the head of childcare. Yeah. So Wolfo wanted to stay clear of all that, and he promoted himself to executive producer of the podcast, and he's been great. He's been helping us tighten up this show. He's been getting good guests. He's always pitching really good ideas.
He's selling us good.
He's very good with the technical stuff as well, and he does a great graphic. He put all those graphics together for the live stream of the Australian Body Surfing Classic, which I think made it look very schmick. So Wolfo's been working really hard with us. And then recently, cute boy Corey, who has been an integral part of the show for a very, very long time. He was I think he was the second guest on the podcast.
Yeah, and he's a polarizing figure.
Yes.
So we get it. If you don't like him, that's all right. You can mute him. But there's more to life on the Bodysurf podcast than Corey Sainsbury. Like, I don't even like him that much, to be honest. But he's on board. He's good for us. You know, he's appealing to the younger demographic. We need to stay relevant, Tim. You know, and who would have thought two white guys in their mid to late 30s are getting not relevant with the kids anymore? Yeah,
would you say Corey is the Sam Frost of the Bodysurf podcast?
Yes, I would, Tim.
So we've got Corey on board, and Corey, again, second guest on the show. He often fills in. When Uga came on once, Corey was just there. I had Dane Torres on the show recently. Corey helped co-host that show. He came back from Flat Rock a few weeks ago. He co-hosted a show then. So he's always been on the podcast. When we almost signed him to the Budgie Boys, in his contract, he actually wrote in that he could come on the podcast whenever he wanted.
Yeah.
And I questioned that. I go, why would you want to do that? But he just loves body surfing so much, he wants to be involved. So Corey has now come on officially as senior producer of the Bodysurf podcast. And it's a great little promotion. It's a great little deal for us, I think, because he's well connected.
Yeah. And that's the best thing about having people like Wolfo and Corey on the team. I mean, you and me, we just say the words. You know, we're not doing the research. I don't have the big wealth of knowledge, the surfing knowledge of Wolfo. You know, Wolfo's surfing knowledge, especially of the local surfing knowledge, is second to none.
Yes.
And Corey knows, or at least asks questions to the guys who are in the know of the body surfing history, particularly of Australia. But that's someone that we need to be working with us to say, all right, boys, here's what you say. Here's the information that we don't have time to research out ourselves.
And he's also connected to Hawaii, and that's really helped us out a lot.
Yeah.
So it's great to have Corey on board as in an official capacity. He's always been a big part of the canon here at the Bodysurf podcast, but it's so nice to have him on. He gave himself an unusual role. I don't know if you saw that email that floated around. I think senior manager of. And I don't know. We don't need a manager. We need a producer, man. Yeah. So senior producer.
No one manages me,
except your manager and your wife.
Vera said that.
So Corey's on board, senior producer, and now we put the little feeler out on the Facebook group. Again, you said this is the fringe of our fan base, so a very eclectic group of fans on the Facebook page. I just said, hey, this is what's been going on. Would anyone like to get involved and be our assistant/intern producer? I was hoping a young person would get involved that's maybe keen to get into radio, and I could give them a reference. I've actually gotten a few mates some jobs at some pretty good radio stations recently.
You've got a good CV, Timmy.
So I've got some connections, and I thought if you come on here, you do 6 months, you do a year with us, and then you might be able to get a really nice radio job. It would look good. Hey, the Bodysurf podcast, intern, whatever you want to say, we'll give you a reference, we'll give you whatever you need. But instead, we got an old dog. Ooh. We got an old dog that doesn't need any radio experience, that doesn't need any podcasting experience. He doesn't need an internship. He doesn't need
an introduction.
He doesn't need college credits. You know, he's an established person. He's an established businessman. He's an established body surfer. But again, probably our number one fan. And he's now coming on board as assistant producer of the Bodysurf podcast.
I've got no idea who you're talking about, Tim.
It's Hamish Christie.
Oh, how good.
So I'm worried because I feel like we're going to lose a Patreon member.
Yeah.
If he's producing the content, he's going to watch it for free.
Yeah, that's fair. He's not paying for that.
But it's worth it. It's worth losing the $6 a month to get...
I don't know. You've seen the sign, mate. Don't make me tap the sign.
The sign means... Okay, but $6 a month loss to get a very... very good producer on the books. I'm happy for that to happen. So we've got a nice little team. And another quick announcement.
Yep.
In 2023, the Bodysurf shop are coming on board as the official sponsor of the Bodysurf podcast.
Mate, does that mean free gear for us? Is that more free gear?
Good gear and good gear to give away.
Well, that's what we started the podcast about, getting some freebies.
Getting some good gear.
Some freebies.
I've never really kept much of the gear I've been given. I give it all away. The only thing I have kept is my slide Grom.
Yeah.
And do you know what? At the Australian Body Surfing Classic after party, I got Trav and Ace to sign it.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That's a nice touch.
So that's the one board that I didn't pay for that I've kept.
Yeah.
Everything I get, even we were given some stealths.
Yeah.
Some new Softy Flex stealths. Everyone at the Australian Body Surfing Classic was given this. What, 140 people were given fins?
Yeah, a lot of fins.
I gave them away straight away.
Who'd you give them to?
Finn Padman.
Oh.
Regular guest on the Bodysurf podcast, nice. An up-and-coming comedian. He went for a surf, so I gave him they fit perfect. They are nice and comfy.
I saw the little video you posted.
Yeah, well, he also took out the Skipper handboard, the Boog,
the little pink one.
The wooden one I bought. I bought it off Skipper when I went to a meetup in Tamarama.
Oh yes.
Got it like $100 and he chucked in a t-shirt. So I really only bought this board because I liked the look of it and I wanted to just maybe use it as a bit of art deco in the house. But then Finn is an ex-bodyboarder and he really wants to get into body surfing. So I gave it to him with the fins and a floppy bucket and a t-shirt and you know what?
The whole thing.
I'm trying to
get the floppy bucket.
I'm trying to recruit him. So this is like a fruit basket or a muffin basket to try and get him on the Budgie Boys. And he went out for a surf in Calburra. And he's already better than all of us, mate.
Yeah, good. That's what we want to
So
hear.
I'm ready to cut a few more people from
good.
the team because Finn Padman's ready to go.
And I'd like to say we need it, but we don't. We're in we're the big three, mate. We're one of the big three.
Yeah, but are we going to lose our hot little spine soon?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. If the other squads start like jumping back on board, particularly the South Coast body surfers. I mean, there's two of our best guys gone.
I don't know. I think they'll stay loyal to us.
Well, you never know. I mean, I think their heart lies with the South Coast body surfers. But whether or not they're going to jump back on board for these comps, who knows?
I think Lone Wolf is here to stay.
Okay.
But also, I have announced my retirement from team body surfing.
Oh, from Budgie Boys. You've
No.
retired.
I will still be a big part of the Budgie Boys. I will still sometimes occasionally compete in maybe individual events.
Okay.
But I will no longer compete in team events.
So more of a coach role you're going
Exactly,
into.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm training the new generation. I'm out there with Finn Padman. I'm putting in, we're waking up at 5 a.m. doing laps at Sutherland Pool. I would also like to try and get a bit of diversity into the group. It'd be great to get a few more females into the team. So I've been training a few of the young lasses around these parts, and I reckon we're going to have a very different team, not only next year, but in the years to come.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Tim. I mean, big loss, really. It's for us. You're breaking the band up prematurely, in my opinion. But if that's the way that you want to go, that's the way you see the team going forward, then, mate, congratulations. Thank you so much for your time.
I was thinking about playing out the rest of my career over in the UK. Yeah. Just doing a season there, just grabbing the cash and then coming back, getting a cushy commentary job. But I thought, no, I'll finish up on top.
Yeah,
and
you can go the Fringe Surfers team.
Yeah.
If they ever come out for a Australian Body Surfing Classic.
But, if you ever get very desperate, I might be able to do who came out of retirement? Who was that Queenslander? Alfie Langer.
Yeah.
I could do an Alfie Langer, but I don't think you'll need me, and I'm happy to be on the sidelines. I'm happy to, spend a lot more time with my family. I'm excited to explore new ventures. Belly Slater has been mentoring me for a colour commentary job that I'm very excited about. So the only thing that might get me back into the water is a potential trip to Hawaii.
Yeah, and I mean they're the whispers, aren't they, Tim? We spoke with Ricky, and he was tired. He'd probably had a couple of beers at that stage. And he goes, "We're going to Hawaii next year. Keep it under wraps." Obviously, we're not now. But if he pulls that off, that's all time. And I know people are interested with the concept, right? They don't do a teams-based competition as far as I'm aware anywhere else in the world. Ricky wants to take it on tour, and if he can get it in Hawaii, I'll put my hand up. I'll go. I'll fly over there. I mean, obviously you're going to have to pay for it, but
Finn have money, mate.
Finn have
cash.
Yeah, they can fly 130 competitors out.
Plus, they were giving out fins as well.
Yeah, that's right. No, well, I mean, obviously, you're probably not going to get 130 people from Australia to go over there. But the hardcore fans of body surfing in this country will want to come and perform in the highest stage. And Hawaii is that. It's the home of body surfing. So if we can get, if the community can get this team's concept over to Hawaii, I mean, sign me up every day of the week.
I've already kind of accounted for it. Next year, regardless of a comp, I think I'll be having a little trip to Hawaii.
Okay.
So I'll be going over there, I think, in some capacity, whether it's just for the podcast or if there's some sort of competition over there. I have received a few messages from Hawaiians, and I've given them my 2 bob, and this is how I think it should look. Now, I have no authority. But as you said, 140 people, not going to happen. No. So we have Hawaii, obviously one of the best teams going around. They're obviously going to be there. I think the Cobras should fly over. They're the best Australian team in the comp. They need to be there. They need to represent themselves. They need to represent Avalon and also their sponsors. I also think there should be potentially an Australian All-Stars team.
Okay.
So you can put that together with some of the best Budgie Boys, some of the best Surfers for Climate, some of the best Newies, some of the best Goldie sliders if they want to get involved again. You can put together an all-star team. I think even Bait Bay would probably have a few members keen to do that.
Yeah.
And then there's, I think, room for one more team. And that team, I think, has to be a Californian team.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Tim. I really like. You could even push that out to having a UK team. You know, if they're willing to get
It's
over
not too
there,
far, is it? Yeah.
You know, it's. I think that's a great idea. The only thing for me would be, how do you pick an Australian team? It would have to be a ballot system, surely. Like, you'd have to go, all right, we have. Everyone puts their name forward who wants to go.
Yeah.
And then it's just a voting.
I think there's
But you can only vote. Only people in the ballot can vote. And I think that's fair, because if you go, oh, we're going to put it out on social media, Corey will get it. You know,
Well,
Nick will get it.
Well,
you
will Corey be swimming for Defin Hawaii?
Well, yeah, that's a possibility. But I think in regards to fairness, you need to work out a system in which it's going to be fair. You can't just have...
What about a selection committee?
Well, yeah, you can do that as well, but there's so many egos, and I spoke about this the last time I was on the podcast, Tim. And I feel the last time I was on the podcast, it's our podcast. There's anyone else is bloody on the podcast these days, Tim, except me. But I did speak about this about the egos in body surfing. I don't get it. One, I get really frustrated by it, and two. Like, yeah, maybe that would be great. I would love to get the DMCs and the pods of this world and Ricky and Ecto. You know, let's get them all together and then they pick a team. But are all the stars going to align for that to happen? Probably not.
Well, I think it will still be a war event, and war hand planes should have a big say. I think a selection committee made up of people like Ricky, like even Peter Sperling, like Belly Slater, even myself. I think we could pick a fair team, and fuck ego.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's body surfing, mate. You're having a swim in the water with a bit of surf. Like, are you really going to be... I guess it's heartbreaking to miss out if you do take it quite serious.
Yeah.
But not everyone's in the Australian team. Edwards got cut and he just won best. He won the Clive Churchill medal. So... Yeah. It's tough, but mate, that's sport.
Yeah.
You know, Cody Simpson didn't do that great, did he?
No.
At an Olympic level?
Well, yeah, I mean, he made the team, but he's not going home with a bag of medals, you know? And you're right there, Tim. It's very important that fairness is number one, but you also send over a team that's can match it with the likes of the Hawaiians. And the only way that's going to happen is if you have a fair panel in which they pick the best body surfers for that team. Now, I really like the idea of us going and having a carry-on in Hawaii, but in reality, if we go over there, we will embarrass ourselves. It will be embarrassing.
The Budgie boys can't organise a night out at the pub.
No.
They're not getting to Hawaii.
No, that's
so right. The Budgie boys hopefully will be represented somehow, but it won't be a full squad. So, yeah, it'd be great if you could come over and maybe compete in that All-Star Australian team if you make the cut.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's just an idea. That's just an idea.
I like it.
It's got legs, but we'll see what Ricky does. And we have spoken about going to Hawaii in the past, and COVID shut that down real quick. But there were probably a few other logistical issues that shut it down as well. So let's see how they work through it, and let's see what happens. But as I said... I think I'll be heading over to Hawaii next year just for my own sake, just to do some interviews, to film some content, to have a surf.
Yeah.
It seems like a pretty nice place.
It's an all right place, mate.
It goes all right, I hear. I actually went to Hawaii when I was maybe about 4, maybe even younger, maybe 3 or 4, and I would swim with floaties.
Yeah.
And my parents would just let me go out in the surf with floaties, and we got a big alarm went off and got a big warning for this thing, and we had never heard this word before. They go, there's a tsunami coming.
Oh.
I'd never heard the word tsunami. It's, now it's part of our day-to-day life.
Yeah.
But we were like, what is a tsunami? What's going to happen? And they go, well, you want to get high. You want to get up in your hotel room nice and
that's
high.
not hard to do in Hawaii, is it?
Yeah. Do you know Dane Torres by any chance? Can he hook you up with something? So we were freaking out, and my mum goes, "Oh, we'll just put the floaties on Tim. He'll be all right. He'll just get swept away in this tsunami."
Bye, Tim.
It never came, and apparently tsunami warnings are very frequent. There was one the other day that nothing ever happened. So I'm not sure how they read the charts and all that sort of stuff, but they do get them wrong a lot.
Yeah.
But when they hit, and they're terrifying.
We've seen that.
They're terrifying. So I'm so glad I didn't experience that. But yeah, I would love to go back to Hawaii. I only got to experience as a very young child and didn't really get to surf.
Yeah.
So let's give it a crack. And if anyone wants to come with me, I'll sort of put some information out there and make it a bit of a trip.
Well, even the regular swell feels like a tsunami type wave when you experience it over there. I mean, for us on the East Coast, the max size of the swell that we're getting here for any form of a surfable wave is really 10 feet. 10 feet, maybe a little bit bigger. Like if you're on a really exposed reef break, you might get up to say 15, 16 feet. But that's a twice a year thing.
What's the biggest you think we've surfed together? Because we used to surf some big stuff. Yeah.
Together probably 6 or 7.
Yeah, I was thinking a little under 10. There was some days I remember.
Really, the South Day was really big.
Oh, really? I thought that would have been around 6.
Yeah, but even like for South, like that was
true.
a relatively big day.
But remember Foster?
Foster was
and the day after Foster, you pulled me back and said, "Don't go out there, mate. No. You're going to drown.
Get that in your lungs, you're dead."
So I reckon that was probably around 10 foot.
Yeah, well, I mean, anywhere between the 6 and 10 feet mark, unless it's really, really clean and offshore, and even then, if it is clean and offshore, you're going to have a high swell period, most likely. It begins to become unrideable, but some of the waves that hit that North Shore, even the ones that I saw, and I didn't even see the biggest swell that can come in and that those reefs can handle. But they're like 15, 16 feet consistent, clean barrels. Like, it's just nothing you've ever experienced before, Tim. And to take a little old team from Australia over there, you'd want to be taking the best.
This is going to sound really dumb because I'm sure it's obvious and in the name, but Wedge McGill.
Yes, Wedge Mill.
Where are they filming?
The Wedge.
In
Cali.
California, okay.
Yeah, so no.
Because I saw some footage come through there today and that was looking like 10 to 15 foot.
Yeah, well, that's a typical wedge break. Like you can have a 10 feet swell, and then when it bounces off the break wall and wedges up with the next line of swell, like then it becomes a 20-foot face.
I have surfed Mystics. I think I know a little something about wedges, Owey. I would love to go and check out that wedge in California as well. So,
it would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Do you think I could surf it?
Yeah, I mean, like they only post footage when it's pumping. Like there's no reason that can't be a very surfable body surfing break at 5 to 6 feet.
But even when it's big, there's like 40 guys on it.
Yeah,
so
that's
true. That's going to be the issue, trying to get a wave. And
they're pretty protective as well. The wedge guys are pretty, I want to use the word feral, but they are feral in regards to keeping that break pure because they see it as a body surfing break and they don't want just anyone coming in thinking that they're heroes and trying to go, oh, look at me. When these guys have surfed it for 40 years.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't think it's the same vein as these surfers that grow up in Cronulla and they go, oh, I surf Windy and Windy's my break. I think it's more saying like, hey, no, come and respect the wave.
Right.
Because if you don't respect the wave, like it's going to hurt. And every time they get a big swell there, there's neck injuries, back injuries, because people go in there and they don't respect it. They think that they can surf it because they surf back home or wherever they come from and they get hurt. So
get travel insurance.
Yeah.
Before I let you...
That's the moral of the story.
It's
Tim.
the moral of every story. Insurance. Before I let you carry on about the Australian Body Surfing Classic, because I haven't really given you a chance yet, I just want to tell a quick story. Actually, there's 2 stories I need to tell. I was going to tell a story on the live podcast, and we need to probably have a chat about the live podcast and reflect about that. But there was a story I was going to tell on the live podcast, which I might close this show with if I can remember, because I keep forgetting for some reason. And maybe that's a sign that it's not a good story.
You've been beating this story up for a while, Tim. It better be good.
So I'll try and close the show with a story. There's a forward sell. But also, a quick story. Matthew Bond and I went out for a body surf.
It's Bondi, not Bondini.
Bond and I. That's his like tones and I. He's a musician. He's been busking on the streets.
Yeah.
So Bondi and I, we went to, it's so funny. He says he lives out west, but it's like northwest, and it's, an hour and a half away from Cronulla.
Yeah, it's quicker to get to me than it is to you.
So I got a message saying, I'm leaving my place now. I'll be there at this time. And I was out north as well. And I'm like, I can get there quicker than Bondi. I'm going to leave and meet him there. And I'm lucky I did, because no one else went. So Bondi would have driven an hour and a half to go to the beach by himself. So I get there first. I size it up. It's looking nice. Probably
Size?
2 to 4 foot. And not too many surfers out there.
2 to 4 foot is like, that's when you say 2 to 4 foot, it errs more on the 2 foot than the 4
That's
foot.
right.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. It's only those.
It's not 3 to 4 foot where it's like most of it's 4.
Yeah.
But I'm conservatively saying it's 3.
But there was some freakish sets that were 4.
That's like when you say it's 6 feet.
Yeah.
All right. And it's actually not 6 feet. It's 4 to 6.
Yeah.
But when you say it's 6 to 8, then you go, all right, now it's big.
Yeah.
This is Rich Evans territory now.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you're going like it's 8 foot plus, that's when it starts getting a bit hairy.
Should we put together a bit of a chart with a bit of information like that?
I think so.
That's handy. Have a picture of Rich under a 6 to 8. Yeah, that could be good. Me and Bondi down the
1
other
to 3.
tail end, yeah. So I was very keen. Bondi saw a bit of whitewash that was a bit full and thick, and he thought, I'm going to struggle swimming out there. And I said, what about over like north? There's a nice little peak there. We can just sit on that corner and get some waves. He goes, I don't know. And what about over there? There's a rip taking you right out. There's not too much water. We can get out there in a second. We'll catch some nice waves. Let's just go get breakfast. Now, we have a friend who...
You've passed a lot of cafes, mate, to get to the beach to just have breakfast.
Much better cafes as well. So we have a friend who's always like, when we don't want to do something, he'll be like, come on. And he peer pressures us into things we sometimes don't want to do.
Into it.
Yeah. So I didn't want to be like that, but I should have maybe pushed Bondi a bit harder and said, nah, you can do this. We're going out. And I think if I had one more person with me, we would have gone out, because it was very nice and not too many people out there. Also, it was a public holiday long weekend. The beach is normally packed. So we were there kind of early-ish, but not many surfers, which was very odd. I think maybe people were hungover or something. That's why not many surfers were out there. I was excited to get in, but I don't go out by myself that often.
Nah, it takes a lot to go out by yourself. You have to be a real committed surfer.
I went out the day after the Australian Body Surfing Classic. I went for a surf at North Cronulla in some shories, and man, did I put on an exhibition. Oh my goodness. I was doing fucking flips. I was doing spins. I was like, why wasn't I like this yesterday? And then I went...
Were you in control of any of
Oh,
them?
yeah. I was doing really well. And there was those 2 boog riders. I don't know if you've ever seen those 2 big, bald boog riders.
Yeah, Robbie and Jesse.
And one of them caught this wave that was honestly a foot tops. And then he paddled back out to his mate and goes, yeah, got fully barreled, mate.
Fully barreled.
But they had right of way, and I was letting them go. So I sort of was trying to show off in front of them when I could get away. But I was having a great day. And then I spent pretty much a week with Dane Torres. Yeah. We played golf. We went out for Chinese. And then we went for a little east exploration. So we checked out Coogee, Maroubra, Bronte, Bondi. We ended up having a surf in Maroubra, and it was a bit washy, but I saw Dane do something that impressed me a lot, and I'm not sure if he meant to do it. He was just cutting across, getting a little left, starting to get a little bit in a barrel, and then the backwash hit. And I don't know if he timed this, but he went for a spin off the backwash.
Yeah, nice.
In a barrel.
Yeah.
And it was, again, 2 to 3 foot, but I was like, that's the sort of stuff I just absolutely love. And there was some backwash at the Australian Body Surfing Classic, and I saw no one utilise it.
Yeah.
So it's
hard to time though, Tim. You know, you have to kind of get the right way.
Yeah.
Kind of have to, that's really advanced body surfing there. If you can work out how to time that and use the backwash to your advantage, then I mean the stars are aligning there. But yeah, it is one of those things. I got hit by some backwash at...
you love a bit of backwash.
I love backwash. But I got hit with backwash at Womp Camp. And I don't know if Rich saw it. One person saw it. And I have never been so far out of the water, out of my control. Like it was like a 3 second 1, 2, 3, and I hit hard. But it was like exhilarating. It was so fun. But if I could have utilised that, chucked a little spinner in there, mate, that's a 10-point ride.
Exactly right. Well, let's get into it. I'll save that other story if we do have time, but I do know you have to go soon, so let's...
No, mate. We got plenty of time here.
So let's get into the Australian Body Surfing Classic. First of all, the night before, the live podcast at the Newtown Hotel. Big night.
Huge night.
We sold 4 tickets.
Yeah.
in the lead up to that event, which I was very saddened by, especially because I know our audience is niche, but I felt like the cult following was going to come out.
Yeah.
And maybe because it was in Newtown, maybe that was the wrong call. We should have maybe hosted it in Maroubra or Bondi or Cronulla.
It's hard to get a room. You guys ever tried to get a room in Sydney on a Friday night?
Yeah, and again, we had a 6 a.m. start because there were so many other things on that night. So it was a little bit disappointing, but at the door on the night, sold a few more tickets, which was great. And then we just let everyone in. And we had a very nice little crowd. I thought it was a really fun little crowd.
Yeah.
So we started the show with the comedic stylings of Belly Slater. I did not know he was going to do that.
A joke. And I listened to the podcast you had with Jesse and Wolfer. And Wolfer said, you're going to have to be in the room. And Jesse was like, yeah, I didn't really get it. I think with Belly's joke, I don't think anyone was ready for comedy straight up.
Yeah, he started cold.
But like even I was in the room and I was like, is he trying to get my attention? What's he trying to... I think he just needed to give a little like, oh, hey guys, we're on here, and then everyone would have been in.
Well,
because the joke wasn't that bad. I listened back to the joke and I was like, it's okay.
Very long setup.
Yeah, long setup.
But also, I thought Belly was just going to bring Finn on, who was the opening act. So if I knew Belly was going to do some material, we would have brought him on and got the room ready. So it was sort of a bit all over the place. But it's kind of nice to have a cold opener. So Belly opened the show and then handed it over to Finn Padman, regular guest here on the Bodysurf podcast. Very good surfer, very good bodyboarder, and now a very good body surfer. I thought he absolutely killed.
Oh, yeah. I really, really enjoyed Finn's set. And I mean, body surfing gags, fair enough. It went over the heads of a lot of the comedians in the room, and that's fine. But the body surfers in the room loved it. You know, and that was kind of as part of the problem when we probably had, 20 body surfers there, you know, and like if we had the full room packed, it would have been great, you know. But for the body surfers in the room, Finn's jokes were just, they sung. I loved it.
Yeah. And then we did a bit of gear, and then we gave away the mulga, and then we were going to give away a slide handboard, but didn't really have time because we wanted to give the headliner as much time as possible. So we were like, let's give away the slide handboard tomorrow. And then we were like, oh, it's probably in bad taste to give a slide handboard away at a war event. So what I'm thinking, we'll look at all the people that attended and bought tickets to the live show, and then we'll draw a winner out of the hat. So
yeah, and the slide handboard was actually given away as a prize beforehand, but given back because the person who won it said, "Listen, I actually don't need it. I've got a slide board.
Yeah.
Why don't you give it on?" So Ant Quinn, thank you so much, and also to obviously Trav Davies who gave it to give us as a prize before. So I mean, he's getting a lot of advertising out of this one board, but that's okay.
What sort of board is it?
It's Buller.
It's a Buller. So this is the primo board that Slide have, and I think everyone would want it. It's worth over $200, I think.
Yeah, it's a really nice board.
It's a very nice board.
Couple of Budgie Boy stickers in there.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, mate.
Are we going to sign it or something?
Nah, we probably won't sign it.
That would devalue it a lot.
A lot.
So I'm hoping, because you're right, half the audience were comedians or open mic comedians, and the other half were body surfers. So hopefully a comedian gets it.
Yeah.
And we recruit a new person to the sport. That could be very fun.
So when are you going to do that draw, Tim?
Well, let's do it soon. Yeah, maybe our next episode if we can remember to do it. Because now we have the Bodysurf shop on board. They want to give us some stuff to give away. So we got to get rid of some... Radio stations used to do this. They would do whatever's in our prize cupboard, we're giving away. They would do a week of giveaways of just the most randomest stuff.
Yeah.
So let's get rid of all...
Be the third caller.
Yes. 25 words or less. Tell us why you should win this board. So let's give this board away in our next episode, and then we'll start fresh. I think we don't have any more gear to give away.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
But obviously, for the Patreon listeners, first up, we got some there's shirts and mugs and stuff like that coming. The kitty's full.
Yeah,
It's on the cards. With the Bodysurfing shop coming on board, though, we're going to be selling this merch through the store.
Yeah.
You know, it's very 2023 is looking bright.
Yeah, a lot of people want the mugs. A lot of people want shirts. A lot of people want swimwear. So let's see what we can do. I would even like something more creative. I would like maybe, coasters, stubby holders, tea towels.
Yeah.
But let's not go too crazy. Let's just keep it simple, keep it basic, and see what we can do. Because
we only sold 4 tickets.
Exactly.
You might only sell 4 mugs. You can't get 100 of them.
That's right. So here's a question for you. Can you wear your own merch?
Yeah, big time. Yeah. I like wearing your own merch. Dan, Lone Wolf, did it at the Australian Bodysurfing Classic, man. You had the retro Lone Wolf green jumper on, mate. That thing is schmick. And people are going, we should go. Lone Wolf is the kind, he's really underground.
Yeah.
And a lot more active probably 5 years ago. But if you did get a hold of one of his boards, crafts them out of old skateboards, really high craftsmanship, really good boards, and then this really retro vintage merch, great colours.
And he's got a great story as well. So I'm thinking he'll be a guest on the Bodysurf podcast as soon as possible, so everyone can
we tried to get him in a couple of weeks ago. It just didn't link up.
Yeah, that happens, you know. And now we've got, 3 producers working for us. We might be able to streamline this operation. So, but what about if you're in a band? You can't wear the band merch.
No.
Yeah, but it's a bit different for a podcast or a Bodysurf gear and stuff. Alrighty. I think that's all I wanted to say about the live show. Oh, Crookshank. John Crookshank.
Yeah, and did you upload the whole set on the Patreon?
I don't know.
He's not going to listen.
I don't know. So
He's big time, mate. He's not listening to the back files of the Bodysurf podcast to find out whether we burnt his gear. I
want to do a bit of gear right now. So I edited the audio. I got the audio up on the live show that morning. I edited that at 1 a.m.
Yeah, I know. You got it up very quick.
Maybe I might have been up around 2 a.m. Saturday morning, the day of the Australian Bodysurfing Classic. I was at Allura Beach at probably 4 a.m., 4:30. People are like, when you got kids, you sleep. You don't get any sleep. You know what it is?
What?
People who have kids, they slept too much before they had kids.
Yeah.
So they're shook.
Yeah. They think that's different now.
Yeah. Throw a few kids at me. I don't think it would make a difference.
You'd be like flicking the kid.
I'd be waking the kid up.
Yeah.
What are you doing, mate?
Yeah, come on, we got a schedule to get to.
So a lot of people go, "Oh, you wouldn't understand if you didn't have kids." Once I was like, "Oh, Jerry Seinfeld's new material was a bit all over the place," and someone goes, "Oh, you wouldn't get it. You got to be married." You got to be married to get observational comedy?
Yeah.
Come on, mate. Don't run at me. See what happens.
Fucking married people, mate.
So, John Cruikshank, Redfern Electrical, I think one of the best comedians in Australia working at the moment, also just has put out some amazing films. I've put the films up on the Facebook group. So he made a film called Redfern Electrical, which is like a mockumentary about him quitting comedy to become an electrician and to start his own business. He is an electrician by trade. He was an apprentice for many years and he works as an electrician, but he's pretty much doing comedy full time now. So that film's amazing. He also did a surf film with drag foam boards. Now, this was a collaboration between a skate shop and drag and Cruikshank. And they do actually screw trucks onto the surfboard and skate on them. So that film's also up. He also just has a great video about a merch drop because he sells his own polos and that. So he's just an amazing filmmaker, let alone stand-up comedian, let alone skateboarder. I asked if he gets into the water that much. He's not. He used to live in Oatley, so he's a local boy done good. And he doesn't really surf, but he does some laps and he gets into Bondi. But he's keen to do a swim. He wants to do, I think, Bondi to Bronte or something like that. So, it'd be great to get him on the podcast one day.
Well, his gear was very good.
He's a big boy, though. He is a big dog in the comedy community. Yeah. So it might be hard to get him on, but he does a few podcasts here and there. So who knows? He might give us a crack. But yeah, 20 minutes of solid stand-up material. The only joke I didn't get was the cream.
The cream?
Remember the cream joke? He goes, "I need a charger. iPhone, Android, nah, cream."
I don't think anyone got it. And then he said, so sometimes you got to go with the shit.
Sometimes the jokes tell you, he said. Yeah, that's right. But I just don't know what cream is. What's cream? I might have to Google that, or if you Google cream, you're just going to get cream coming up. So is it a sort of phone? Is it a sort of product you get at a service station?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person.
I'm so confused. But what a great set. So what a great night. The carry-on was big-ish, but not too big because we had to get home for the Australian Bodysurfing Classic.
The funny thing was there were more body surfers outside than were inside watching us.
What do you mean?
Well, the whole, Daryl and his crew from up north, they were all there at the pub. Everyone's having dinner outside. Rich Evans rocks up. No, Rich didn't rock up, but everyone was outside.
Well, Jeremy Weiner was in the crowd and he brought a friend. That was really nice. And Gareth from the Budgie Boys.
Yeah, he rocked up late.
But he's been very supportive and he's come to a lot of my live shows and stuff. So big ups to Gareth, and we'll get him on the podcast soon because he's a great guy and has a cool story as well. So I think that sort of wraps up everything in terms of the live show. Did you enjoy it? Would you like to do another one?
Yeah, I think so. We would have to work on a few things, but I think everyone had fun, and Belly killed it. He was so good on that keyboard, and we can only improve from here. What I will say, Tim, is your comedy bit after our show, where you did another room at the same pub. It was brilliant. It was really, really good. And Belly, I saw Belly looking through you must have been so proud, Tim. You saw Belly looking through the window. Because obviously we didn't pay to see you. Well, I'm not doing that. But yeah, Belly was looking through the window and he was in awe. He was like, I didn't believe Tim was this good.
I've been doing it 3 years.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes
and it took a while. And I'm at a stage where I'm kind of comfortable. It's still very hard work and very scary, but I'm getting there. And I think I only did 7 minutes or so. I ran a bit short. I was meant to do 10, but I did another show afterwards upstairs. Much better set. It's funny, the first show you sort of work out what's working and what's not, and then you get another chance and you go, I'll cut that joke. Because I opened with a new joke and it bombed. I had to work my way back from nothing because I lost the audience. But I did that joke the night before and it killed. Yeah. It's tricky.
It's tricky.
It's a funny business.
It's tricky. Play the sting.
We can't play Run DMC. Alrighty, so let's get into the big dance. The Australian Bodysurf Classic 2022, put on by War Hand Planes. Owey, this is your chance. Have a spray. Have your say. It was your day. You owned this day, mate.
Well, what I will say, and Dave, if you're listening, you can turn. You're not listening. He turns off way before.
He told us he turns off. What, half hour in?
Yeah. No, not even half hour.
Really?
As soon as we start going off track, he's like, "All right, catch your boys."
I feel like this episode's had a lot of body surfing chat.
It has. Yeah. It has.
Have you seen any films lately? I've been watching the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff.
Yeah,
Can we chat about that?
No. Woodstock 99 was recently watched. Have you seen that?
What's the one with
series?
Dimitri Martin?
Don't get us into it. We'll talk about it later.
Is it stealing Woodstock?
Give this stuff to the Patreon. All right, that's what they're paying for. Listen to me. First and foremost, thank you so much to the listeners. Thank you so much to my parents now deceased. Thank you so much to your parents, Timmy, still alive. You know, Al was a big inspiration for me. You know, he's getting out there. He's having a body surf, going out without fins on, and
he's got some fins.
He's got fins now. Oh, that's good. You know, Al will go down to Wanda, jump in.
He's got pods.
Mate. Oh, there you go.
Because he used to have Scuba Steves, and I go, you can't do that. So I've given him a few different ones. He likes the pods the best.
Yeah. But a lot of people have contributed to this moment, Tim, and I don't think that we got the. I don't think we got the accolades we deserved.
I would have liked to seen a speech from
to be honest, I think we should have.
Here's your speech,
we should have been invited to speak, because at the heart of body surfing in Australia is the Budgie Boys. You know, it's the carry-on group that really reflects what white males want to be. You know, you want to be able to get your rig out. No one cares what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're saying, and just have a good time. You know, and we say, like we're first in friendship. We're never going to do anything. That makes this even better, because we not only just had a carry on and decided that we'd just jump in for the sake of it, mate. We effectively beat the best of the rest. You know, Defin and the Cobras are never going to be taken off those top two spots as long as they're there. I really cannot see that happening in the slightest. So really, first place is third. You know, so effectively, we should be saying we came first. Yeah, and I'm happy with that. I don't care if you don't think that that's the same. And people go, oh, well, you wouldn't have been there unless you got the fin sprint victory. I'm more happy about the fin sprint victory, to be honest, than coming third. We came second in the fin sprint. Once again, you're not going to beat the Cobras. They're lightning. Well, but, you know, Defin won.
Defin won? Because of the fin sprint in 2019.
That's the name of the game. You know, this is a team's body surfing competition in which the fin sprint contributes to the overall
I was impressed that Defin won the entire competition without winning the fin sprint.
Yeah.
That did my head in. When Cobras won the fin sprint, I said, it's all over. Yeah. Cobras have got this.
You know, and the Cobras surfed so well. I mean, they're just all consistent. The whole team is of a high level. You know, most of the other teams are battling with 2 or 3 decent body surfers and making up the numbers for really, like on the big scale of things, we're making the numbers up. Really, even the better body surfers in those teams are making the numbers up. But those guys and the Defin guy, and I wasn't confident about Defin. I thought Cobras had it in the bag this year because, I mean, so many changes for Defin, even with the addition of little Ace Davies. I mean, he's just 12. He's a good body surfer, but I mean, the Defin guys are... In my individual, I was with Dane, and I razzed him up after. I was like, mate, I almost had you there. I came third. I was nowhere even close to him. And I think Jesse said it a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. I caught a cracking wave, probably my best wave in competition. And I literally turned around to swim back out, and Dane did a front flip and kept riding on the wave.
Yeah.
And I just went, well, I'm going to have to go into the tricks bag for next year to try and improve my my scores. I think a year we may be able to get some more tricks going. That's for another stage. But this year it was about making up the numbers, and really for me and for us, we could have never ever even dreamt about beating Bait Bay, beating Eastern Suburbs, beating Maroubra even. They've got some great body surfers to come third. And when they announced it, and Ricky did a really well to kind of go up from fifth, I was like, oh, well, we're not even going to get our name read here. We're not even going to be able to carry on.
I kind of missed fifth and fourth. It just came straight to third, and I go, well, they're already doing third.
Yeah.
We're nowhere near that.
Well, the Jezza Mad Dogs, I'm pretty sure, came fifth. So Gerringong team. And then when I heard that, I was like, oh, gee, like new team on the block. Like if we can't even beat those guys, what hope do we have? And then Bait Bay, fourth. And I'm going, oh dear. Like they get their thing, patting us on the back. Oh, better luck next year, guys. And then the Budgie Boys gets read out as team 3. And honestly, like I could not believe it. I was so happy. I was so stoked that we did. We mopped up the floor with Rob Meldrum. We did away with the Nick Brabots of this world. We didn't have to listen to him carry on anymore because we had the rain. And, it's only going to last here. I can't see us repeating this ever. I really cannot see this happening again. So I'm going to bask in it.
For sure.
And thanks for getting us to this spot. It was a fluke. We fluked it. We made it happen. We got third with Bondi on our side. How does that make all the listeners feel? It was just one of those days. And Tim, I haven't even started on the fin sprint yet, but that was when I looked up after diving into second place, and I saw Wolfo looking at me with a big grin on his face, and I just said, Did we beat Bait Bay? And he goes, mate, you came second. And I was like, we what? What do you mean we came second? He goes, Bait Bay haven't even finished yet. And I was like, I ran and jumped in the ocean. It was euphoric for me. The fin sprint means so much more to me to even coming third overall in the day. And I got to change our Instagram page. We are now the second fastest body surfing team in Australia.
I would say we're the second best body surfing team in Australia.
Yeah.
And I've had some issues.
And that's a hard thing coming out of our mouths, Tim.
I don't think so. I've been saying it everywhere. This is my biggest issue, Owey. I've gone to work. I've gone to family functions. They go, oh, how was the body surfing comp? We came third. And they go, oh, great. Anyways. And I go, no. Defin Hawaii in first position. DMC Cobras from Avalon in second. The Budgie Boys in third.
And the rest.
One of those three don't belong. Like, this is a massive achievement. And have you heard the email I sent through to Wide World of Sport?
I have, yeah.
Because I just wanted people to understand how grand this was. This isn't just, a little surf comp. There's 140 competitors in it. This isn't just a little, muck around with a few teams. There's a team, an international team from Hawaii, who have the best body surfers in the world. They invented the sport.
And they beat our brains out.
Absolutely. But to be there on a podium with them, it's very, very nice.
It would have been a
very,
nice
very,
moment.
very proud.
Yeah, like that. And that's what they need to do. I know that the winners got the gold medals, but where's the podium? Where's the accolades? Where's the we're holding our hands up. We get to stand alongside the champions, because it's never going to happen again, Tim.
Well, I bought a few extra Australian Body Surfing Classic shirts, and I'm going to get one of them signed by the team, the Budgie Boy third place team. I'm going to get it framed. I'm thinking of getting some medals made up. I think we need some bronze medals.
Oh, for sure.
Because and also we've been in talks about we've always had this idea of putting a team photo up at one of our favourite pubs or at a surf club as a sort of a joke to see if anyone notices it.
Yeah.
I think we need an official photo at a Lura surf club now.
Yeah, definitely.
The article in the leader was just like, oh yeah, the Budgie boys from Allura and the Bay from Wanda came.
Mate, it's our beach now.
I'm walking around like the Bra Boys. I'm on a jet ski.
We grew here, mate. We grew here.
Now, we should not endorse the ownership of any beaches. We are not about that. But definitely we deserve some more respect than what we're getting. And I know there's some funny jokes. Oh, we'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah. And you won't.
You won't. Have we ever heard the end of when other people succeed?
Yeah, that's right. Paul's never lost an individual, man. I've been hearing that for years.
Exactly right.
And he surfed well. He lost this year. Every good thing comes to an end, so I'm going to bask in the glory of this for as long as I possibly can.
And as you say, it's all we'll ever get and it's all we'll ever have, so let's enjoy it while we can. In saying that, I did say let's just carry on for the rest of the year and then we'll start the podcast fresh in the new year and try and be a bit more dignified and professional.
Yeah. Now, I feel as if I performed quite well. Other people on the day performed obviously better. Who won the Clive Churchill? Now, and what is the Clive Churchill equivalent? It's the Mark Cunningham, I guess.
Yeah.
So who won? And that for international listeners, the Clive Churchill is the NRL man of the match at the grand final. So we're saying the Australian Body Surfing Classic is the grand final of body surfing. Who was the man of the day?
Now, there were some honourable mentions. Someone in their individual comp did not catch one wave.
Yes.
That got an honourable mention. Someone got wave of the day. Someone got longest ride of the day. I think Ace also got an honourable mention. But yeah, you're right. No one got the man of the match, the Mark Cunningham. See, I'm bad with names. I'm bad with faces. So, but there's also some big dogs there that always get a bit of credit. And they've already been rewarded. So maybe we don't mention them. So like Cobras, obviously, I just think the Cobras as a team deserve something. Their KPIs are incredible.
Yeah.
The amount of waves they caught unnecessarily, because like you only get judged on your full Beth waves. And that's what Hawaii were very good at doing, wave selection. And Hawaii didn't catch as many waves, but they did more on them, I'm guessing, and that's how they won the day. So just the Cobras are so freaking good. So I'm not sure who's the driving force. I did meet 3 of them and I've been in touch with them to try and do some stuff on the podcast, but still they are kind of faceless men to me.
Very fast team for an animal without legs.
Who ate the apple though? So that person who didn't catch a wave, that's very funny. Because that's almost
He's got the Mark Cunningham.
That's the Bondi Award, I think.
Yeah, it is.
So that's a great award to have. And again, the person with the most heart, I think, also deserves an award.
Well, Tim, and you can sit there and think about something if you want, but even if you can't work out, the body surfing was the winner on the day, one. But I can tell you who the worst person was on the day. I don't have the information on the best person, but the worst person. The worst person on the day was Corey Sainsbury.
Oh.
And I'll tell you
I thought you were going to go a very different direction.
No. And I'll tell you why. There's a raffle, right? At the after party, there's a raffle. They've been selling tickets all day. They sold 1,000 fucking tickets in this raffle.
But it was also for a very good cause.
A great cause.
So the surfers against climate change.
Against climate? So for climate. Surfers against climate change, surfers for climate.
Surfers for climate.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I think that's what they're going with. But yeah, it is. That was the raffle was for that. They were giving away a Patagonia wetsuit, right? And they've sold, as I said, they've sold 1,000 tickets in this thing, right? And Ricky gets up there, and I know it's not rigged. I know it's not. And this is why I'm so angry about the entire moment. Everyone's sitting there with their raffle tickets. People got fistfuls of raffle tickets, right? Yeah. I've got it this year. I'm going to win it, right? Ricky pulls this out and he goes, whatever number it was, like B28, blue ticket. Pause, turns around. Corey Sainsbury wins this wetsuit, right? Everyone goes, oh yeah, clap. But the people in the know that Corey Sainsbury's sponsored by this group, and he gets a free Patagonia wetsuit.
It's a few.
He gets them all the time. So the one guy who actually has no need for this prize, and he was so smug about it as well. You see him get up there, he's laughing, he's getting pictures with Belinda Bags, he's bowing to the crowd, he's saying, thank you guys. What an asshole. Worst on ground, Corey Sainsbury.
Seat number 0001 C Montgomery Burns. And here come the tomatoes.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what exactly it was. And the boos were unbearable.
I'll post it. I'll post the video because it's... have you seen it?
I think Corey handled it very well. I think it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's really funny, yeah.
Corey knew exactly what he was doing. And it was... the funniest thing I've ever seen at an event like that. I've been to a few meat raffles.
Yeah.
They're a shit show.
Yeah.
Something always hilarious happens.
Yeah.
That was the funniest raffle I've ever seen in my life, and Corey played it very well. He played it like a NIDA trained actor.
Yeah.
He went to Julian just to do that scene. That was... amazing. I loved it. I don't think it was an arse move. I think it was very funny. But I think the worst on the day, and I've already said this on the podcast, for not only his attempt at the fin sprint and dropping the baton, his body surfing, but also just attitude. The attitude of this guy. He's an absolute C word. I'm so off him. And I'm not sure if you're in a few group chats with him, but Robbie Meldrum, oh my goodness, that guy's got to go. He's got to be dropped from the East. He can maybe redeem himself with Maroubra, but I don't think the Maroubra, who's the secondary reserve grade club, I don't think they want him.
Nah.
Oh my goodness. So he's my pick for worst on the day. My pick for best, I'm going to go with a debutant. I'm going to go with Mark Brabot.
Was he a debutant?
Yeah, first time competing.
Okay.
At the Australian Bodysurfing Classic. He was a late inclusion. He wasn't available initially. I think he had to work or he had something on, and they got him in the team. I think Bait Bay did some very interesting things this year, and I was really excited by it, and that was one of them. And I think he's a top bloke. He's very young.
Yeah.
He's very newish to the sport. I don't think he takes it as serious as Nick and Luke, but that's my pick for the best and fairest of the day, the Mark Cunningham Award.
And you know what? And we've had our run-ins with the Bait Bay Body Bashers over the years, but what I will say is gentlemen and women, really. They're really nice guys. Particularly for me, I find the Brabots really good to get along with. Luke's always really accommodating. Whenever we see him, he's, hey boys, how you going? Just really, really gentle, friendly guys. We carry on a bit. We give them.
It's all fabricated, and it's always been a thing. It's like the Battle of the West or whatever. Yeah. But I should have mentioned as well when we mentioned the new team that we do have a line of guest co-hosts that permanently come and fill in. So Luke Brabot is a member of the Bodysurf podcast as one of our most frequent guest hosts. We also have Matthew Bond, Jesse Mawson. I think that was all we kind of put in that pool. But again, anyone's open to come in.
And international correspondents as well.
Super Biscuit. He's our US correspondent. So we probably should look for a UK correspondent as well. But we kind of have Guy Butcher doing some stuff for us, which is cool.
Yeah. Now, Timmy, just before I wrap up, I did want to say the perennial second place, the Cobras. Obviously, wonderful team.
My favourite body surfing team from day one, and I've never really met them. I've always watched them from afar and just been in awe. I asked if I could get some merch because I love their merch. They've got these great big bright red hoodies with the Cobra on it. I think some of them may have Cobra tattoos and stuff. It's a great little logo. They were like, mate, we made these 10 years ago. Yeah. How are they in such good condition?
They look great, don't they?
But yeah, he's like, no, we wear these every day.
Yeah. Australian champions, obviously.
Yeah.
But they're really the Tom Melbourne the explanation of that is that there was a horse called Tom Melbourne, right? And I think it ran 15 consecutive second places. So when did they jump off into first? When do they win a race?
Didn't Tom win one?
He did, yeah.
And we went wild.
Yeah, it was great. He eventually won, which was it was like the sun had dropped out of the sky.
The Budgie Boys are like the Tim's principle.
Yeah, that's right. If you want shit horse names, come to us. But yeah, Timmy, I think that
or a Bella horse.
They need the accolades that they deserve. Hawaii is a great team, and they fly out and they sponsor the event. They're not winning just because they're sponsoring the event. They are the best body surfers. We get it. Yeah. But, and
it was close.
Yeah.
It's very close, but they deserved the win. They did very well. I've gone back and watched the live stream many times, and every time I see something new, I go, oh, absolutely, that was incredible. Yeah. So they definitely deserve the win, but it's heartbreaking to see the Cobras come second again, especially when they won the fin sprint, which in the past has gotten people over the line.
Yeah. Yeah, but congratulations to them. Obviously, we'll never attain that, but I mean, second best team in Australia, Timmy, in the fin sprint and overall. That's a win for us. That we're not going to top that. That's 2 silver medals in my books, and I mean, if anyone can top that next year, then power to you. But it's just been one of those. It's been one of those great things that you'll look back on in 50 years' time, Timmy, and you go, oh, mate, wasn't that good? And to do it with the likes of Daryl and the likes of Joel and Harry, and Dan, Wolf, it was just it was wonderful. We had a great team. It was a really good vibe.
And new friends for life, really. Yeah. Like, it's bonded us forever. Like, Lone Wolf and I have been surfing a lot, and we've become pretty good mates. But the other boys, I think that's just going to put us in this school of body surfing. We're the class of 2022.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting to get some good photos because I want to print these off and put them around the house because I don't want to forget this. And I got a tattoo.
Yeah, that's right, Tim.
I got a tattoo because I never want to forget that moment. And we always said we would get tattoos if we got first. And I think we said we were going to get it on our butts.
Yeah.
But because we got third, I said, I'll just get a tattoo. If anyone wants to get it, come along. But I didn't think many people would be keen. So I just got one on my ankle. It's a pretty safe place to get it. So I'm very proud of the tattoo, although I haven't been doing very, very good with the aftercare.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the first few tattoos I did, I was very good, very precious. This one, I've been jumping in the pool, jumping in the spa, jumping in the salt water.
It's just a precaution. It's not like the ink's going to run out.
I think it bleeds and the ink gets thicker. I don't know. But like I was saying, like, pirates have tattoos.
Yeah.
As if they're looking after it, but then they go, pirates had bad tattoos. So I don't want to be a pirate.
I don't think you're going to be a pirate, Tim, with a little budgie on your ankle.
I don't want to be a pirate. All right, but I reckon we are, like, how do you tell people about this event? You've probably been hanging out with the family, with friends, with work colleagues.
I've tried to keep it on the down low because no one gives a shit. They're like, how'd you go? I was like, we came third. And they're like, as you said, they're like, oh, yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Then
like,
you got to listen to a half-hour story about how they slow-cooked pork. But no one gives a shit about winning a body surf comp.
Yeah, that's right. I know. That's the thing. And it's like, the thing I get shitty with, it's people that have no hobbies and they're always fucking busy. And it's like, you've watched 50 series of Netflix. I'm like, Tim does that and runs 9 comedy rooms. Well, that's a full-time job. Yeah. You're sitting at home on your ass asking about, like, when do I get more time to live my life? Go out and win a fucking body surfing competition and maybe you'll think about your life in a different way. It's a big thing here where, like, I'm not trying to sell the body surfing community to everyone. I love the lifestyle. It's great. It's a great way to get some energy out. But, like, just do something. Get out there in the water. We're trying to just live this life, and if you're getting excited about slow-cooked pork, don't get me wrong, slow-cooked pork's great. I'm not ragging on the slow cooked pork, Timmy, but there's more to life than slow cooked pork.
Absolutely. But I also like the excruciatingly boring people because it just makes us look so much better.
Yeah, and people go to me in April. They're like, "Oh, you're always so busy.
Yeah.
Can't catch up with you anytime for coffee." I'm like, I ain't got fucking time for coffee. I'm doing shit.
Yeah.
Like, mate, I got to drive down to Sydney, do a podcast. I got to jump in the water, in the ocean. I got to try and do this, do that. I got a full-time job. I got to running around, mate. Got to make the grass look good. Taking a leaf out of Alan Renkemer's book.
You got to work out when she's ovulating.
That's right. You got to do everything, mate. You can't have time to sit down and have coffee, mate. If you're living your life, there's no time for coffee.
And I just don't know how people do it. I honestly wouldn't be able to survive if I didn't have these things to do. And when I've been in dark places, the things that have got me out are things like body surfing, things like podcasting, things like stand-up comedy, things like skateboarding, things like hanging out with friends, things like watching footy with the boys. And it's so important for your mental health to have these things around you because life's not fun without it. And it can get very, very lonely and very, very dark. So join a body surfing club.
That's right, Timmy. And speaking of dark, it's getting very dark in this room, and we should sign it off because we've been chatting for a little while. You could make a part A and B of this if you really wanted to. Might milk it out a couple of weeks.
Can I check how long it is?
Yeah. Or I'm going to say hour 15.
Yeah, perfect. Spot on. Hour 15. So I'm keen to put it all up.
Okay.
One big...
This is how people normally do podcasts.
Dave Malloy will listen to the first 5, and then if you want to hang in for the rest of the hour, have a crack.
Yeah. Well, it's been good to be here, Tim. Very, very randomly that I was down on a school night, but here we are.
Is it a school night?
Well, it's whatever night you're listening to.
I thought the Queen died again. I thought we're getting all these nights off.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's just public holidays until Chrissy now.
So I would really hope, before we do the sign-off, and I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but make this sign-off real special. Okay?
Well, because it's going to be the last one. This is the last episode.
This is my eulogy. Play this at my funeral.
Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking about this the other day. A lot of people go, because a lot of comedians came and watched the live show, and they go, oh, we want to listen to the podcast. What's like the best one to start us off? There's an episode. Maybe I'll post it on the Facebook group or get it out somehow. It was maybe the second episode we did when we had the new equipment. We did it in my old place. We had a wooden bar. We didn't have a backdrop, so it's just a blank wall. But it's one of the tightest podcasts we've done. It's
between the sets, and it's like episode 34 or something.
Let me find it, and I'll put it up on that Facebook group.
It's really deep in the archive, but it is a very tight episode.
So if you're new, go back and listen to that one. I'll put it up on the Facebook group. And if you haven't listened to the live show, give that a crack. How good's the edit? The live show, the audio, everything's different. So the Patreon's different, the audio's different, and then the video's different. So you might want to check out all of them. Yeah.
There's little Easter eggs in every single one. You know,
when you're editing at 2 a.m, there's no room for consistency.
Yeah.
All right, but we got to get out of here. Do it all again real soon. But remember
that the Budgie Boys came 3rd overall in the Australian Bodysurfing Classic 2022 and second only to the Cobras in the fin sprint, making us the second fastest and second best team in Australia. And it's always overhead when you're body surfing.
Bye.